And hello, hello.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon.
I should probably do these, huh? There we go. How's
Oh,
everybody doing on this fine, fine Thursday afternoon?
uh, good.
Good? Why not great?
Bueno. Well, I'm a little under the weather, so there's that. Uh, which kind of coincides with what we're going to be talking about today, which is perfect. But
Are you
yeah, I don't
still
know.
are you still sick from the original time you were sick, or is this the second time?
I think this is the second time I got
Okay.
better, and now I'm losing my voice, and I got a cough. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me.
Because you got sick, Kelsey got sick, I got sick for two
hmm
days. You guys got better, and now you're sick again.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is
Here,
bonkers.
I'm gonna post this on Facebook so people could see.
Share it on Facebook. We want the world to see us talking about the pandemic because the pandemic hasn't been talked about enough for going on 2 years.
Oh yeah, but this is. I don't know. Like, I think it's. I think it's important to discuss like our take on it.
Yeah.
If people are going to be watching our podcast, I don't want people to get the wrong idea.
I guess
Um,
before we discuss it, I want to ask you a question. Would you say that anything good has came from the pandemic? And it doesn't even have to be like anything like serious. Just like anything that you learned or anything that you ended up doing because of the pandemic, something good that came out of it. That way
well,
it's
you
not like
see,
all negative, negative, negative.
I mean, like plenty good has come from the pandemic. Like, hold on, let me put this on here, and then I'll tell you my take because it's
Well, if you're doing that, I can tell you mine real fast
go ahead.
because mine's short and easy. It ties in with my YouTube channel that I do. So I started making YouTube videos strictly just because we got quarantined at work when I worked at Kroger.
Sure.
Because somebody, I don't remember who it was. I'm not even going to name drop them, even if I did know, but I think somebody got COVID and they shut down the entire deli and made everybody quarantine for like a week and a half to 2 weeks. And during that time, it was like maybe like 4 or 5 months after I'd gotten my gaming PC, and I had just
hmm
like saved a fuck ton of clips from of like CS:GO, and I started making YouTube videos just because I had nothing to do for a week.
Yeah,
Isn't that
yeah,
crazy?
that is actually, and I think that also. So if you really think about it, it kind of helped birth this
Yeah.
because if you never made YouTube videos, it never would have been like thought about to do a podcast, and then this never would have really came to fruition. Same for my Twitch. I would have never thought about making uh, streaming content on Twitch. So there is a silver lining, and I say that very
With a grain of salt.
yeah with a grain of salt because like this shit fucking sucks. Like, and I know there's a lot of people that are like, when's it gonna be over? When's it gonna be over? I'm gonna be honest with you.
It's probably the new.
It's not. It's not because now that we're taking infectious disease seriously,
Which we
um,
should have from the beginning, really.
well, yeah, this is why this happened. I'm gonna lay it out here. I've watched a few podcasts of my own. I've watched some informational videos, and like, I don't mean to be like all tinfoil hat or like, they're putting the fucking shit in the water to make the frogs gay kind of guy, but um, like, no, this was like we had it coming. We had it coming because you have to think. All right, so like in human history, there have been several pandemics that have almost wiped us off the face of the earth, right?
Yeah, like
You
the
got
Black Plague.
yeah, you got the bubonic plague or the black plague. You have the Spanish flu.
Mm-hmm.
Um, things like that have been plaguing, no pun intended, humans since the dawn of time, right? Um, and it is, I would say, it is almost selfish of us to think that we were infallible to those sort of things because of our advancements in medical technology.
I just think it's funny because if you look back at history, right? Like specifically just talking about COVID, not necessarily the other I don't know what you would call it, plague, I guess. I don't really want to call COVID a plague, but these like pandemics that we've been having. The thing that's crazy about COVID is that it happened like in the 21st century where we've got technology. You would think that people would be, I'm trying to use my words correctly here. You would think that people would be like more prepared for it and like understanding of common knowledge. Like I don't know. I feel like that's another tangent that I'm going to go down. You can continue saying what you're saying, but yeah, that's
No,
just
I mean, like, so you would think that it would be, you're right. You'd think we'd be more prepared, but we're not. And the
mm-hmm.
reason why that is because, like, we lived, I should say,
We
I,
live in a
I, I don't,
society.
well, I'm about to say something along those lines. We lived in a society that was, that, like, we moved a lot. Like, so, for example, I don't know if you've played it, Plague Inc., right?
Yeah, yeah.
How, like, you can get shit airborne and it travels through airplanes. And you could see your little yellow airplane flying to an uninfected country, and as soon as that airplane touches down, it infects that country.
Right.
Patient zero of that country happens there,
Mm-hmm.
right? That happens today. That happens today. We we only got cases of like Ebola there because of people traveling and of how fast we could travel.
But they shut
So,
Ebola down pretty quickly.
well, it's
Wasn't it
because
like less than
Ebola,
20 people had it in the United States?
there's a reason for that. Okay, I wrote a research paper on Ebola and,
So you're the professional here. Holy
well,
shit.
filoviruses is what they're called. Okay, Marburg, Ebola Zaire. Um, there's another one I can't think of it on top of my head, but those viruses are aggressive. They are murderous, bloodthirsty viruses that will leave you in a pool of your liquefied organs within 2 weeks.
Yep.
They'll kill you very fast, very aggressive, and it will literally just take you out. So because of that, it is very infectious through blood, right? And when it you get infected with it, it essentially turns your body into a pouch of soup, of bloody soup,
Didn't it
right?
like
And
melt your
this
organs or something like that? Ebola?
it 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 like emulsified him, right? It would eat and like regurgitate, eat and regurgitate, and it made this stuff called black blood.
Mm-hmm.
Black blood is like they called it that because when people vomited up, it was blood, but it had like a bunch of black specks in it.
Yeah.
This stuff was one of the most like infectious materials in existence. Like if you so much as touched it, you had Ebola. Like that shit would like go through your skin, you get infected, it would be all over you. Like they would have to handle this stuff at the CDC
Okay, hold on.
wearing like
Side note, real
four different
fast.
layers.
This is bothering me. The lighting in my room, it makes it look like I have like a full beard and then it just stops and goes to fuzz right there. I've been noticing it like this entire time and it's bothering me. Anyways, continue. Sorry. I'm
It's all
adjusting
good.
myself.
Um, but that sort of virus, like it's super infectious to the point where like it kills the spread of infection faster than the spread of infection itself.
Yeah.
So if you get it, like you're going to die. I think there was a guy who lived, but he was like on dialysis for like 4 weeks, like literally on like life support, and they were pumping fluids in and out of him to try to flush the virus out so it didn't kill him. But
Yeah.
he had like severe, long-lasting effects. and it was a guy from the States.
Excuse
Pretty
me.
sure a minister of some sort. He was doing some overseas ministry. That's it
Lord's
happens a
work.
lot because of that. Um, but they just kept flushing him,
Yeah.
essentially, like flushing his fluids to try to like force this virus out, and eventually it died, and he became, you know, cured, I guess. Like we didn't kill the virus; it just kind of killed itself. It had a lifespan, couldn't repopulate because it every time one cell got infected, it was flushed out, and like a you,
Well,
you
you
see what I'm
also got
saying?
to think like the disease probably actually has a lifespan, but we don't see that lifespan because when you get infected by it, you die before its lifespan is over.
Well, yeah,
So if
yeah,
they
like
were keeping him alive long enough and flushing him out and keeping him like not healthy but alive, uh, he probably just outlasted Ebola's lifespan. Like it probably didn't have anything left to to grow and just died out.
yeah, well, that's essentially what happened, and that's like if you get it, that's what you have to do. You immediately go on life support.
Yeah.
Like you have to be, everything has to be done for you. Like it's bad, right? So that's why that virus couldn't become a global pandemic.
Right.
It's because it kills you too fast. COVID, oh, it has a 0.2% kill rate. That's bad. Like people say, oh, that's good. That's bad. Because you can get it, you could survive, you could pass it to other people who can't survive, and you kill them.
Mm-hmm.
You become their harbinger of death, essentially. And this is where like I kind of get like a little mad in a sense because um you like I get it. You're like, well, it only affects old people, right? Not true. Not anymore anyway. Like I get like Omicron. Like people are like, oh, Omicron, like
Or the Delta
Transformers,
variant too, for
or
that
the
matter.
Delta variant. Like um, it's hurting. It's hurting young people now too. Like you have
So
anecdotal evidence from your wife that it's hurting young
yeah,
people too.
so that's what I was gonna say is like not to throw anybody under the. I'm not even no. Okay, so sorry, I'm trying to pick and choose my words wisely because this is like a very touchy and political opinion and like standpoint for some reason. But there are people that will like argue and be like, oh, COVID doesn't. It's not as bad as everybody makes it out to be. It doesn't have that high of a death rate. Blah 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 blah. Okay, that might be true. Like if you got COVID and you survived, it's probably because you were healthy and you're young. My wife, who is a nurse, has seen people go to the hospital who were 45, 50 years old and they're still really really healthy for, for their age. She said that, you know, they didn't drink that often, they don't smoke, they're relatively healthy for their age. And they would be thrown into oh man, I forget what it's called. Not an incubator, but
Intubation.
thank you, intubated. They would intubate you, which means like you stopped breathing and they have to like shove the tube down your throat so you can breathe. And like you don't recover from that. Like 9 times out of 10, if you get intubated, you're intubated for life, unless I'm understanding her incorrectly. If that's
Yeah.
incorrect, that's because I misunderstood it. Not that she told me that. That's just what I was understanding from her. So she's seen people go to the hospital, uh, and it's just, oh, I have a cough, I don't feel well, and
Hmm.
then like die a week later. People who are
Yeah.
fucking healthy. So yeah, you also have like these little kids that they say are in like the it affects older and really young people, right?
Well, young people like there's not been any like from what I've heard, there hasn't been any recorded cases of children dying of COVID.
Right.
So that's a blessing in disguise. But yeah,
Because I
it's
was
not
gonna
killing
say
kids.
she hasn't seen like anybody like our age or younger. I think she said the youngest person she's seen like with severe symptoms was like 30. But
Which is
they
still
ended up
young.
surviving. They ended up like surviving, but it's crazy how people don't take it seriously and they're oh, we're being lied to about this. It's like a hoax, which it's kind of funny. I don't know if you remember, but like at the beginning of the pandemic, I was that way because
Hmm.
I was misinformed. I was like, I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not afraid of this. There was people talking at my work talking about how they were going to bring like the army and lock us up and do like the martial law type shit.
Yeah.
It was like such a weird and crazy time. And then it's so weird because we've been in this pandemic for like 2 years and people still are misinformed about it and they don't have the right information. And I'm not even going to say that they're misinformed. I'm going to say that they're not even listening to the facts.
Hmm.
There's hard evidence that people are getting very, very sick from this and dying in the specific age groups. And
Yeah.
I will say this too, and then we can kind of take a step back and go back to what you were saying. My mom was talking about how she had to get like her second shot, and she was like really, really upset about it. And she had said that she was talking to, I think it was the pharmacist or something where she was at, and he said that he had a buddy who had both of his shots, including the booster shot for the Delta, and he got COVID and was on his couch sick for like 4 days and felt like he was dying, and then he got better. And my mom was telling me that she was like, her and the dude were like mad because they were like, why do I have to get the shot if I'm still going to get sick and it's still going to make me feel like I'm dying? But
Yeah.
I, I think I think that a lot of people that think that way just don't understand how a vaccine works.
Yeah.
Because the
It's not
vaccine
going to
does
prevent
not
it.
make you immune. That's an
Immunization.
yes, an immunization shot.
Yeah.
It's not a vaccine. You get a flu shot every year. Well, not everybody. I haven't for the longest fucking time. But when you get a flu shot, it doesn't make you immune to it. It just makes you less likely to get it and less harsh symptoms. If that
Like if he
dude,
wasn't vaccinated, he would have died.
yeah,
He could have died.
yeah, he's
100%.
sitting here complaining about laying on the couch for 4 days feeling like death. I would rather be sick for a week on my couch feeling like I'm
And
dying
dying.
than actually dying or being intubated in a hospital. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
So,
people don't get that.
yeah, it's crazy, man. 2 years. We're almost 2 years into this.
And people still don't get it.
Yeah, it's wild.
Like get with the program. It baffles me because like I've been vaccinated. I need my booster shots, but I've been vaccinated.
I
I've
have
taken
not
the Pfizer
yet.
shot. Yeah, you probably should get on that. I'm going to be honest with you
Yeah.
because at this rate, it's only going to start affecting younger and younger.
To be
Um,
fair, though, in my defense, I've kind of like changed my opinion on the whole thing. I at first was not up for the shot,
mhm.
but because I was misinformed,
Yeah,
and
now
I've
you're
changed my ways.
reinformed and now you're
I
a reformed
understand
man.
science. I am a man of science. I understand it. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Continue.
which it's funny because you say science.
It's literally
a-
science.
but a lot of people don't believe that. They're like, they're saying that this is propaganda,
Yeah.
and that's what it just. So here's what gets to me, right? Um, People will go on their respective social media websites, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is, and they will look up these things because they want the facts themselves,
Hmm.
right? Depending on how you look up things or depending on what websites you frequent will depend on what kind of information you're fed.
True.
I'm knowledgeable to that. So I take everything that I read online with a grain of salt that is like a that's like an opinion, right? Like if it's an opinion, like I'm just like, okay, well that's this person's opinion. I need to make an opinion for myself. I'm my own individual. I have individualism. I know how to formulate my own opinion,
Right.
right? Other people will go on there and they will find their website, find the information they get from, and they jump into what I call an echo chamber, okay? Where it's just essentially
They're only hearing themselves.
they yell something that they think into the void or what they've been told into the void, and the void tells it to them back. And they're
Hmm.
like, "Yes, here is your proof. Here is what you need to use uh for your arguments, whatever. Like this is what you want to see."
Yeah.
Okay? It's the internet, man. Like it has everything on there. If I looked up that like dogs are secretly fucking government spies that have been given to men to systematically break down like uh the patriarchy and establish a matriarchal fucking government. Like if I looks up just something off the fucking wall like that, I'm gonna find something. I'll find something.
Okay, well, a
And guess
side
what? I'll
note,
get
birds are not real. They were
yeah,
made by the
like
government.
that too. Like I know you're joking, but like that too. Like shit like that. You get into like a thought process of that, like, and you think that, and you're looking up information for that, that's all you're gonna fucking get. That's
Yeah.
all you're gonna fucking see. They're gonna sit there, they're gonna pat you on the head and be like, "Oh, good job. This is the truth. You found it. Oh my gosh, you know, you know it all. This is you're right." And that's what you're gonna see, and you're like, "Wow, I'm right." Anybody else who tells me otherwise is fucking wrong because it's all I see on Facebook.
I also, taking just a step back about how you said that it's like a government, like a conspiracy for the government to take control.
Mm,
I was just thinking about this. If the government were producing COVID and telling people to wear masks, right?
mm-hmm.
My question is like what would be the point? Like what would that accomplish? Or even like taking it a step further and saying like you need to get this vaccine and making it mandatory. Like just think about it. Like not the principle of oh, they know that they can control the people or oh, they know that the sheep will listen or stupid stuff like that. Give me like an actual reason like what would that accomplish? What if the government comes in and tells you you have to this virus is real and you have to wear masks and you have to be vaccinated. What does that accomplish? What does that do to harm you? It does nothing. That's why it's a conspiracy. You think it's because the government wants to do XYZ. You think it's because the government wants to show you that they can control the people. That's all it
Mm,
is I think, I think, I think.
yeah.
There's nothing I I don't know.
There's nothing backing that up.
There's nothing backing it up. There's no hard proof.
We're not under control yet. I I have the vaccine and I'm not a walking fucking government drone, right? Like they're not telling me, "Oh, go do this, go do that," and I'm doing it. I'm
Well, you
still a
have
man
been
of free
getting those
will.
headaches. I wonder if the radio frequencies going into you.
Yeah, the headaches, yes. The headaches that Big Pharma's prescribing me medication for, and it's taking over my mind.
Yeah,
Here,
exactly.
if you would like to hold that thought, my food's here. Give me one second.
Oh wow. All right, how am I going to entertain you guys while he's gone? Let's see. We're going to make fun of Marcus. I'm just going to start laughing like I said something very inappropriate or just something about him. And I'll go, "Oh, it's nothing." It's nothing. Get memed on, kid. It's going to be great. For those of you that are watching, thank you. This is the awkward intermission while Marcus gets his food. Oh, he's back.
Hopefully, y'all don't mind me eating in front of y'all.
That's fine.
It is what it is.
See,
I'm just fucking starving.
I told you guys.
What?
Nothing.
What happened?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
What happened?
Nothing. It's okay. We can continue.
What-
We can continue talking about this pandemic.
You sure?
Yeah. Um. So the only thing about this pandemic that I kind of don't agree with is the forcing of the vaccine. And my only reasoning for that is the same. So my only reasoning for that is they don't force you to get like the flu shot. It used to be required for high school, but I knew a bunch of people that would be like, oh, because of religious purposes, I don't have to get it. I'm not saying I don't think you should get the shot, because I do think you should get the vaccine. I think it's just common sense to want to get a vaccine against like a major virus that's taking over the fucking world right now. But I don't think the right move was to force people to get it. I think what they should have done, instead of trying to force it upon people, I think what they should have done is spent more time educating people. Because I know when the vaccines first came out, everybody was talking about, oh, they're magnetic. This one uses like stem cells. This one will do this. It's the mark of the beast. We don't know what all is in it. That was one of my excuses for not wanting to get it towards the beginning, was because I didn't know, excuse me, what all was in it and what side effects you would get from getting it. If they would have spent their time, information, resources in educating the people, showing them that it's safe, it's harmless, you might get side effects just like any other vaccine, and showed like proof,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe people would be more inclined to just, oh, okay, fine, I'll get the shot. But
Yeah.
people are so stubborn nowadays, and they're like, well, they didn't know what it was at the beginning. Oh, now I have to get 2 shots. Oh, now I got to get the booster shot. Oh, now I got to get the Omicron shot. It's just like, I feel like it could have been handled a little bit better. And not to get political, but this does involve a little political segment. I do believe that our president at the time handled that situation completely the wrong way.
Yeah.
I think what he should have done, President Trump should have, I think he should have admitted, that actually wouldn't have worked. I'm taking that back. I don't think he should have admitted that it was worse than what they thought it was, because that might have caused panic. But I don't think he should have said the things that he was saying kind of going against the vaccine. And then like a week later, 2 weeks later, or however long it was, he just ending up out of the blue getting the vaccine. You know what I mean? Like and it's not just his problem. I'm not just blaming it on him. This isn't a Trump problem. But he could have handled it better. The FDA could have handled it better. People deserve to be informed. And with all this misinformation going around everywhere, and you read like a Facebook article from some anti-vaxxer who doesn't know what they're talking about and thinks essential oils are going to save you, and you believe them over a scientist that's spent the last year and a half in a lab trying to develop this vaccine, it's just a mess. It is a mess, and then people bring politics into it, and it's right this, left this. This was a mess, and it made it worse. I honestly think it made the pandemic worse, because you got the people that weren't listening spreading it. And then all of the other political things that were going on that were causing the stuff to get spread too. It was just not a good time. If COVID would have came like a year or so later, a year or so before, maybe we would have been okay. But also, another thing that bothers me, I'm just going to keep talking while you're eating. It bothers me that just because COVID is a thing now, any time that you get sick, it's automatically COVID. Like when I was sick for 2 days and everybody was freaking out at work. Oh, is it COVID? My dad was like, oh, you probably had COVID. My mom was like, oh, did you get COVID? No, it's flu season. I work outside in the cold with water. I'm going to get sick. I literally
Yeah,
get sick this time of the year every year. I get sick once in the summer and once in the winter, and it probably has to do with my allergies.
yeah.
It's
Well,
not just COVID. Just because COVID is a thing and it's serious does not mean that every time you cough like that, that wasn't COVID. That's because I'm dumb and don't know how to swallow my spit, so it chokes me.
well, real quick, because you
Yeah,
said a lot.
we can you can take a couple steps back. That's
Um,
fine.
well, I'm gonna work backwards here, so everything makes sense. And you're dying, you get COVID. Um, but so excuse me. You said it's not like it shouldn't be government mandated.
Hmm.
Well, here's the thing: it's not. You're not vaccinated, right?
No.
You can still go to Kroger. You can still go to Target,
Right.
Walmart. You can still go to work. It's not. It's not mandated. Um, you don't have to get the COVID shot. But here's the thing:
You also don't have to go to
they,
Kroger.
yeah. You also don't have to shop. You don't have to do anything like that. You could stay at home. I don't fucking care. Like, do you? You are a free American. That is propaganda. Like that people have like made you believe that you have to get it,
Hmm.
right? Nobody. Yeah, you may feel guilty that you're not getting it. You may feel bad that you're not getting it,
Or your job may require it.
or your job may require it, and that's fine. Like, here's the thing about that too. People are like, the government can't make my job require. Well, here's the thing. Your job is getting more government support if they require you to get the vaccine. Your job is able to stay open through this pandemic if they require you to get the vaccine. Okay? That's not mandating you as a person to go get vaccinated. You don't have to work there. You don't have to be a healthcare worker. I don't want you being a healthcare worker if you refuse to get vaccinated. I don't want to go to the doctor and get COVID from going to the doctor. That's not okay. Like, if you don't want the vaccine that bad, stay the fuck at home. That's how I see it. Like, you don't have to get vaccinated, but let us all experience herd immunity while you're over here struggling for your life to do anything because you don't want to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Because if everyone gets vaccinated, okay, your kids don't have to take 18 shots for one fucking virus. They won't. They'll take one vaccine maybe once a year and then they'll be good. And I know what people think, oh, once a year, but like you said earlier, it's not an immunization shot, it is a vaccine.
It's just like
We
the flu
take
shot. You go and get a tetanus shot every 10 years. Well,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean I don't because
Well, you're supposed to.
but yeah.
And if you get a scratch, you go get the tetanus shot before tetanus sets in.
Yeah.
But tetanus is another disease that people don't realize is something you have to get a fucking vaccine for regularly.
Yeah.
Tetanus could literally kill you. Well, it'll make life really fucking hard. I don't think it
No,
could kill
I
you,
think
but
it can
it'd
kill
make
you. I think it like
it.
does stuff to your blood.
Yeah, and it also like gives you like lockjaw and shit.
Yep.
It fucks you up, right? You get bit by a rabid dog. What do you go get?
Rabies.
A rabies shot. Okay. 3 years down the line, you get bit by another rabid dog. What are you gonna go get?
COVID
A
test.
rabies shot. Yeah, a COVID test. Yeah, but what I'm saying is that like there are several different diseases that we take regular shots for
Right.
that we have to stay on top of. Otherwise, we would have several global pandemics. Like my son, when he was born, okay, had like 8 shots done to him. Did I freak out? Did I get mad? No. Do you know why? Because I don't want my son to be patient zero for the measles part two. I don't want my son
And I
to
mean,
get a new and fucking improved version of what's that one fucking flu that's completely eradicated? Polio? I don't know.
Polio is not the flu.
No, there's another like disease that's been eradicated recently that that only the United States and Russia has the last remaining living strains of in a lab.
I don't know. Maybe chicken pox. I don't know. But what I was going to say
Smallpox. That's what it was. Sorry.
is like a lot of these shots that you get as a baby.
Hmm.
I think people are confusing those with like the COVID shot. Those are immunization. I can't say the goddamn word.
Immunization.
Yes.
Immunization.
Yes, thank you. They make you immune to said disease. So you get them once while you're a child before you can even contract it. That's not what the flu shot is. That's not what the COVID shot is. Oh God, I'm dying. But
Yeah.
so kind of taking a step back from COVID and talking about another pandemic. Do you remember H1n1 Swine Flu? What did that happen? Like 9th grade, 8th grade?
Yeah.
They like, I feel like they made that like seem like it was a big deal, but I don't know if a lot of people got sick from it. I was young, so I don't know if I was even paying attention, but I remember Carl Azus from CNN Student News talking about it.
If I remember correctly, it was a big problem in Mexico.
Okay.
People died.
That's just, it's crazy to think that we have like all of these just like sicknesses going around. Like think about this, right? So we have to get the flu shot every year, not only to keep us safe from it, but also because it like adapts, right? It adapts every year. Could you imagine if somebody like I'm going to say 100 years ago, if someone 100 years ago got the flu today, they would like die. It would completely fuck their organs. Because it's so weird to like think about stuff like that. And it makes you like if you think about it on a scale like that, it makes you understand how important and how severe COVID can get. Because COVID can adapt, right? So now here we are right now where it only affects certain age groups, certain healthinesses. If you're not really a healthy person, there's a bunch of factors that play into whether you can get it and if your symptoms are severe or not severe. If you don't get, vaccinated, in 20, 30 years, the new COVID that'll be a thing would like destroy you within a day. You know what I mean? Because you've had none of the immunizations.
Vaccinations.
Yes, my bad. Sorry, I misspoke. Vaccinations. So it's just weird how it's going to adapt, and it's scary to think about too. Because like I said at the beginning, this is the new. We've only been wearing masks. I've been alive for almost 25 years. And I've only been required to wear a mask for like 2 of them. Not even.
Yeah.
And it feels weird to not like wear a mask. Or at least have one on me. It feels weird to like not sanitize. Like when I walked into that Best Buy to get my phone, I sanitized my hands. Like I wouldn't do that in 2018. You know what I mean?
You wouldn't think about it.
Dallas in 2018 would see a phone on the floor and pick it up. I wouldn't do that now.
Yeah.
It's changed our lifestyles, like just a complete 180.
Some of us.
That
It's
is
changed
true.
some of our lifestyles.
Some of us. Yes.
Sorry, I'm almost done eating.
You're fine. I don't know. I saw this this one conspiracy theory. It was kind of interesting. I want your take on it, okay? So you know how we had all these diseases like thousands of years ago? and even before us. Well, I saw somewhere that the ice caps were like melting. Well, I didn't see this somewhere. Obviously, the fucking hello global warming, the ice caps are melting. Um, but there was a disease that was like frozen in this ice for
Yeah.
thousands of years, and somebody said that that was COVID. I don't know how true that is. I know we obviously like assume right now that it came from like bats or whatever it was. But like how crazy would that be if they found out that like this bat got it from a glacier in Antarctica and this is like a 1,000-year-old virus? Could you imagine?
Yeah, that'd be fucking insane. But there are viruses in polar ice caps and shit just chilling.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. And they're alive. They're just like, we're here. Frozen in time.
You know what though? I'm going to side with the other side really fast. They didn't wear masks in the caveman days.
Yeah. And they also lived to be like 19 years old.
That's not true.
That is true.
No, they used to live really old back in the day.
No.
No, I'm pretty sure people back then used to live to be like 200, 300 years old. Like, actually.
No.
Are you fucking with me?
You're smoking that pack, buddy.
No,
Like,
seriously, I'm not even memeing anymore. I read this somewhere that people back in the day used to live to like 200 years old. Like,
no.
easily.
Mm-mm. No, the oldest person in recorded history is alive today.
How old are they?
100%. Like 120.
Damn, that's pretty old.
Yeah. 200's pretty fucking old too, Dallas.
Yeah, well, look, I don't, I'm not an expert on aging, but I'm sure that with the Earth's gravitational pull and the way that things were back in Neanderthal times, they probably lived to be 200.
No.
If
Back
you
in
weren't
Neanderthal
killed
times,
by
you got
a predator.
straight up murked by a predator when you were like younger, or you lived to the ripe old age of like 25.
I'm old.
Yeah. In Neanderthal times, you are old. Well, a lot of like you have to think it's like we were animals then, essentially. We had
Yeah.
small civilizations, but so do fucking apes. And like, yeah, apes can live to be like 40 or 50, but like that's an old ass fucking ape if they live that long, right? Because at that point, they're like, as soon as you start getting slow, you're getting killed by a fucking tiger. You're getting killed. And if you're like a fucking Neanderthal, you're getting killed by a fucking, I don't know, what's a fucking predator from back then? A saber tooth. Like it's straight up murking your fucking shit.
Yeah.
You're getting eaten.
I
Like,
digress. They didn't wear masks back in the day, so I don't have to. No.
well, see, like,
Respectively speaking.
here's the thing. Yeah, if you get vaccinated, I'm not gonna be mad at you if you don't wear a fucking mask.
Well, you don't get mad at me now, and I'm not vaccinated.
Well, it's because like you're your own person, and
And
I'm
we kissed
vaccinated,
that
so you
one
can't
day
hurt me.
too, so.
Oh shit.
Okay, we're
Yeah.
severely off topic. Um.
Um,
Oh, jeez. This
COVID
episode's a
bad,
mess.
vaccine good.
Yes. People need to be reinformed.
Yeah, they do need to be reinformed. It's just, it's
I
bananas to think that like this could get political. You know?
So that's the one thing that bothers me. Like, not everything has to be political. Even though a majority of one political side might believe in one thing and the other might believe in the exact opposite, there are some things that just shouldn't be politics, right?
Well,
This is one of those things.
yeah.
This, I mean, if you, like, I'm going to use the example of, like, before the Trump presidency, only because I feel like that was when politics started getting, like, really heated. I also
Mhm.
am just saying that because that's around the time that I started to pay attention, and maybe it's always been like this. But
Hasn't.
I feel like before 45 or 46, whichever one he was, because I don't remember, I feel like something as simple as a vaccine wasn't wasn't divided by red and blue, left and right. It was just divided by anti-vaxxer and like normal person. And a lot of these people that were Trump supporters that were anti-vax were not anti-vax before
before.
COVID. So I
They
don't
considered
know.
anti-vax a liberal thing, actually,
Yeah,
like holistic healing, like hippie shit.
right. Like the smoke some bud and fucking drink your essential oils and listen to your moon rocks.
Yeah.
That's like the most liberal you can get. And now it's a, I don't know. What I'm trying to get at, because I don't want to make this political, but like it just, how is it political? I I don't understand it.
What's the perfect storm? You got to think. Okay, so when this happened, the nation was getting divided because of President Trump. Like, well, because of his presidency. Let's say that. I'm not going to blame it on the man. Um, and I also don't want to say, whether you should have supported him, whether you shouldn't have supported him. I personally didn't, but you do you. Um,
I
um,
tell you what.
well, here's the thing. Like, and not every Trump supporter sounds like that. Crazily enough, I've come across a lot of Trump supporters who are educated individuals who supported him for other reasons, and like preach to your choir. I'm not listening to it. Okay, so
Hey,
uh,
don't be talking to me, motherfucker. You know my
no, I'm
POV.
just I'm just saying like it was the perfect storm because around the time that it was happening, the facts were hard to get out,
Hmm.
right? Because the facts were so skewed because we were having that whole media problem where people were saying fake news this, fake
Yep.
news that. And if the wrong person said, and probably the wrong person said something about COVID, a fact about COVID, and they took that as it's fake news. Like CNN could have did like a cover story on it. And then Fox News was like, well, we got to do something about this. And so they said, it's not as bad as it is.
And it might have been completely different if it was swapped. If Fox
Yeah.
News did something about it and
And then
CNN decided
CNN
to
was just
cover it,
like, CNN would have been like,
we
it's
would be
not
in
as bad as it
completely
is.
different places right now.
I would still be on the boat. I would have a Republican viewpoint at that point.
Well, I don't mean
I
us
would like to think,
specifically, but I mean
well, but like,
I feel like the boat would be turned.
yeah,
I
the
feel
boat
like a
would be
lot of the
turned.
people that are like, I voted for
Yeah,
this person, so I'm not getting vaccinated, would be like, I'm
yeah,
voting for this person, so I am. It'd be
exactly.
completely different
But
for
the
a lot
problem
of
is,
people, which is
it's
a
it's
problem.
it's who fucking reported on it, and that's the issue. Is who's the ones saying the facts, and because of it, it's it's become a freedom thing,
Hmm.
right? Like if you get vaccinated, you are sacrificing freedom. What
And
freedom are you sacrificing?
I understand what you were saying earlier about that you don't have to get vaccinated, and I
Mm,
understand that it's your job's decision to force you to do it because you don't have to work for them.
yeah,
Um, grocery stores can force you to wear a mask because they're a business and they can decide who enters. I mean, this
yeah.
this all boils back to like past arguments that we've had before. Like
No
like
shirts, no
years
shoes, no
ago,
service.
like well, not even that, but like years ago people were arguing because like the whole not being able, I know this is getting political. Like the whole like that lady that didn't want to bake the cake for the gay couple, and then they passed the law that was like you can refuse service, a company can refuse your service based off of
Believe.
whatever based off beliefs. But
Yeah.
now that the tides just so happen to turn on the on I'm man, this is so hard to not talk in a political manner. Since the tables have turned on those sets of people, it is now a problem. That's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to get at. It's okay to block somebody from entering your business for your political beliefs, but if it inflicts my political beliefs, then it's tyrannous and it's down with the government, they're bad, and all of
Mhm.
this stuff. So I just information.
Yeah.
People need to be informed. That's look, at the end of this podcast, if there's anything that you guys have learned, you need to be informed.
Yeah. And you need to know.
Information.
You need to know your facts, and you need to know if it's coming from the CDC. It's probably fucking true.
Yep. Now don't
Like
get me
they're
wrong,
not.
the government has not always
They're fallible.
been truthful to us. The
Yeah.
government is ran by human beings who are flawed. We understand that. You shouldn't trust everything the government says. I'll go ahead and say that. I don't care if you call me a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. They've lied before.
But there's some things that you have to use your noggin. Okay? You got to think.
Yeah. And this is one of those things where it's like, maybe they're not fucking lying if every single world government is fighting to fucking end this
Yeah.
shit. Is fighting to make it better. You know?
So
Like if everybody's on the same page, not every single government is going to be like fuck them up. You know what I mean? Like they're not trying to fuck you over.
you remember when I went to Hawaii for my honeymoon and
Yes.
how strict they were to get in there?
Yes.
I had to get on the plane to get to Hawaii, like not necessarily to get onto the plane, but to get off of the plane and through like I don't know if it's considered customs in Hawaii since it's still like the United States, but you had to have like a My Chart app, and you had to have a negative COVID test, and it had to have been within the last like 48 hours or something like that.
Yeah. So you have to get a rapid.
Right, you had to get a rapid. But Hawaii only accepted certain certain tests. They didn't actually accept like the rapid one where you'd get same day results. We had to get the one that gave us results within 3 days, which was scary because if we got our test, which we had to set up an appointment for, and then we got it the next day, we would have to like be off of that plane, like hope that there was no layovers and be there because that's the 2-day gap right there. Yeah. Or what if we made it to Hawaii and it's been 2 days and the results are coming in tomorrow? You know what I mean? So not saying that in like an annoyed way, because I mean it was a little annoying, but like that's a precaution. That's something that we have to do now. That's something
unless you're vaccinated.
Right. And if you're vaccinated, you just show them your vaccination card and you're good to go.
Yeah.
So yes, it is annoying, and yes, it is very different from, I'm assuming, from the way travel used to be to Hawaii before, because I've never been before other than this one time. But that's just the way that things are now. And I feel like it's going to be like this for a long time. If my personal opinion, I don't think that this is going to be like, in a sense, like another flu where it's like, okay, you're sick. Oh, Jared's got COVID. Hope he doesn't die, but nobody's masked up. Honestly, I think for a while, like a while, I think we're going to be doing the whole social distancing, mask up, vaccine number 24 to fight all the variants because people are still arguing whether we should get vaccinated or not. I think this is going to be a thing for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like 100%. I think when my child is born, I think probably like I don't know, probably like 10 years. They will be 10 years old, living their entire life with a mask.
And all of a sudden it's going to be like, no more masks.
The CDC will be like, you're not required to wear masks anymore. COVID's been completely eradicated, or we've developed an immunization, or maybe they've developed a vaccine or something that to where COVID isn't as deadly as it is.
Yeah.
And my child's going to be like, what do you mean I don't have to grab my mask?
Yeah.
It's going to feel weird to us too, even though a
Yeah.
majority of our lives have been maskless.
Maskless. Yeah.
Social distancing, and I catch myself doing this too. Never, because I have bad hearing as it is. And so normally when I'm talking to somebody, I'm like right up on them, having a conversation with them. But I find myself when somebody steps towards me, I kind of like do the
Step
little
back.
1-2, like step back, like
Yeah.
halt. I
Stay
pull
away
my
from me.
mask up. Like if I'm masked down and I'm like, and somebody's talking to me, I'll like mask up. It's
Hmm.
crazy. It's weird, and I think it's gonna be like this for a while.
Yeah. It's the new norm, and people need to get used to that. And they need to be like, like I mentally shun the people that don't get on board.
Yeah,
Like I get like you may think I'm being a sheep, but like if I'm being a sheep, just fucking follow the herd, dude. Like that's how you don't get eaten from wolves.
yeah. And I feel bad too because I've not been vaccinated,
Hmm.
but also at the same time, everybody else around me that has been vaccinated, it's almost like it in my head, it's almost like the only person that I'm really harming is myself.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
if I do get it and I give it to you guys, not only are your side effects going to be a lot less bad, but it's just it's like a selfish thing to do
what?
to not get vaccinated.
It can be. You can see it that way. You can schedule an
No,
appointment
I'm
right now.
just talking specifically for myself. I feel like it's selfish because I hang out with you and Kelsey and my wife and I've a bunch of people that are all vaccinated, and I'm just over here like, hey, by the way, somebody coughs on me, and I'm gonna get Thanos. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get dusted.
I mean, maybe. We also have to see it like as like maybe you'll be fine, and you probably will be. But the way that I was told by several different people is that like, yeah, you may be around someone who's vaccinated, but that person with the vaccination could still be a carrier of the disease.
True.
Because like you said, it's a vaccination, not immunization. It's Christmas time right now, so they're
Yep.
going home and they're visiting family, and some of those family are very fragile, right? Some of these family members, it's their last Christmas. You don't want to be the reason that they make it their family member's last Christmas. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you don't want that on your conscience.
Yeah. So get vaccinated. Like get the booster shot. I still need to get the booster shot
I
because
still
like
need to get
Pfizer
the
has like
original two.
2 booster shots out, and I need to get both of them. And well, I think
I'm
actually I need to get
kind
one.
of
But
hoping that by the time I go to get my vaccine, which I've got, the whole I don't like talking to doctors thing, so it's just kind of like whenever Jessica sets it up for me. Um, but I'm hoping like by the time I get it, it'll just be one shot that covers like all of the variants that they have, the Delta and the Omicron, or at least like you don't have to get 2 shots and then the booster. Maybe it's just like 2 shots and the second
well,
one is the booster. I'm hoping it'll be like a
depending.
little bit easier because like I'm not really I like to just get it done and get it over with. I'm not a fan of like having to go back to the doctor, having to get stuck again. Like just stick all 4 of them in my arm at once and I'll deal with being sick for a week and then just send me on my way. I'm good.
Well, you do realize that like you can go to your brother's work and get vaccinated.
Yeah, but he lives like 50 minutes away.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying like you can go to his workplace and like say hi to your brother, go in there and get shots, and then go visit your mom right afterwards.
Nobody wants to say hi to Cody.
Okay. Well, fine. Just go to the CVS that's right down the road. They'll also vaccinate you, and you don't even have to talk to anybody. You just
Is
get
it
on your
free?
phone.
They're free still, right?
Free.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Free 99. Yep. Um, yeah, you could just literally go on your phone, look up CVS vaccination, set up an appointment,
Yeah.
and walk in there and be like, I have an appointment. And they'll be like, sit down. And then you're like, okay, you sit down. 5 minutes later, somebody walks out, follow me. You go behind a partition, you lift up your arm. They say, how's the weather? Good. Stab.
How's the
All right.
weather? Snow tornadoes.
Yeah, snow nados. Fucking right. We were going to talk about that. We don't really have to talk about it anymore. But yeah, snow nados are bad. Anyway, no, they'll be like, "How's the weather?" And you'll say some stupid shit like that, and then they're like, "All right, sit over here for a second to make sure you don't have like a fucking seizure from the vaccine," which hasn't happened yet. So they just do it just cause. And you go over there, you sit down. I feel fine. Arm sore. Cool. Go home. Come back next week. Okay. Leave. Come back. Shot. How's the weather? All right. 5 minutes. Go home. You're good. Awesome. Vaccinated.
I know I need to get it
Literally it.
done.
Literally it. It's super easy peasy. 5 minutes of your time.
So I'm not going to name any names, but I do want to talk about this. So somebody that I know is about to quit their job because of the vaccine mandate,
Hmm.
and they work at a very, very, very well paying job that happens to deal with medicine.
Hmm.
And it is not who you think it is before you like start to like freak out and be like, oh, it's not who you think it is. um
You'll tell me after.
yeah, they I went and visited them. This was probably like, I don't know, month or two ago. I don't remember. 2 months, 2 months, 3 months ago. And they were talking about how um, they were making fun of a couple of the people that were around that were vaccinated, and saying that they would never do that. And then, like, literally the next day or so, um, the place of work said that the employees had until like January or February of next year to get vaccinated, or they would be like terminated.
Yeah.
And this individual was like, I'm just going to quit before then, and is like looking for a new job, which is mind boggling to me because like it's a very well paying job and you're dealing with medicine. So you got to kind of like know a thing or two about medicine to
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
work there, and you're
Yep.
conflicted about it. So
Yeah. I know
it's
who you're
just
talking
like
about.
it's just like weird to me.
That is. People, man, misinformation everywhere.
Yeah. It's
Shit, bro.
like I said, I've literally this look, this episode is repetitive and it fits in with the pandemic. I told you it's not who you thought it was.
Nope.
And so this episode has been super repetitive, but and like again with my ADHD, I like stutter for 1 second and I start the entire sentence again. This pandemic has been repetitive. It's been going on for 2 years. And it's information.
Yeah, that's literally it. Just get the right fucking facts. Like I watched a TikTok, and I hate to say it was from a fucking TikTok, but a statistician, someone who deals with statistics,
Mm-hmm.
went
I
on there,
took
and
AP statistics.
I did, and I passed. I failed
I
the AP
didn't
exam.
because of this guy.
Yeah, well, you know what? Sorry. Um,
You didn't do my test for me.
so I know a thing or two about statistics, but this person was a statistician. They know a lot more. I'm gonna leave you with some information. Okay, one in every 60 person who's vaccinated will get COVID. Which you're thinking, wow, that's a lot of people. But 1 in 8, every unvaccinated get COVID.
Even if you don't look at the statistics like that, think about the
It,
flu
it,
shot.
yeah.
It's probably like a 1 in 8 people who get the flu shot end up getting the flu.
Are you ready for this one though?
Okay.
One in every 10,000 who are vaccinated will die from COVID. 10,000.
That sounds like a lot, but it's not.
One in every 500 who is unvaccinated will die from COVID.
Yep.
It is such a disparity.
And what's crazy about COVID too is you can get it and show absolutely no symptoms and be perfectly fine and pass it on to somebody else.
Yeah. And they could be that 1 in 500.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to think about it. If you walked into a mall, which on average has 500 people,
Mm-hmm.
would you walk into that mall knowing that one of you people in that mall are going to get shot in the head and
No.
killed? No, you wouldn't fucking risk it.
I
Get the
mean, I
fucking
also wouldn't
vaccine.
risk it if there was 10,000 people in the mall and I knew one person was.
Well, if there's 10,000 people in the mall, that's too many people in a fucking mall. But if you walk into a city and there's 10,000 people in a city, you already know the risk of you getting
Well,
shot in the city.
okay, that's a fair assumption because I'd still walk in the city.
Yeah, like it's a city. It's like I'm not gonna be the 10,000. Like you fucking stupid. Like I'm gonna be careful. You
Yeah.
know, like it
Wow.
exactly. But
Great analogy. Fucking
yeah,
kudos to you. I'm over here like 10,000 people in the mall. I just avoid the mall.
yeah, that's way too many people in the fucking mall. Yeah, like 500 people is like an average fucking mall. Like at least in the Midwest, I don't go to any big fucking malls. I'm not at the Mall of America for fuck's sake. But like Greenwood Park Mall, there's probably like 500 people in there. You just
Yeah,
think one of you motherfuckers are gonna get domed if you don't have the vaccine.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, so get the vaccine.
It
Yeah.
does not need to be a political thing.
Nope.
All we're
You don't even have to
saying,
tell people. Like, don't
all
tell people you got vaccinated if you don't want to be like shamed by your
right.
fucking friends that don't
You
believe
don't
in the
have to
vaccine.
bring it up on Christmas dinner. You can
Yeah,
go get vaccinated and keep it a secret.
but when they're wondering why you're going to fucking the next concert that requires a vaccine card, say sucks to suck, buddy. I figured it out.
Yeah.
Shit, not a
Or
big deal.
we can turn it into a catchy catchphrase.
Oh God.
Like, let's go, Michael.
Shut the fuck up. Oh God. I'm sure that'll catch on.
Yeah, I'm starting it.
Oh yeah. Let's go, Michael.
uh, this was
Yeah.
this was an interesting episode. We try to not talk about political um, controversial things, but unfortunately, talking about the pandemic and COVID requires us to talk about these forbidden things that we don't want to talk about because for whatever reason it is tied in to politics. Um, I this might be a short episode because I don't have anything else to add.
That's fine. This was a good episode. It was
Yeah,
short, but it was full of shit.
this was definitely if there was one thing you could take from this episode, Marcus, what would it be?
Inform yourself,
Inform
but
yourself.
correctly. Use the right sources.
Don't just go on Google and search up will COVID vaccine give me AIDS? Like you gotta understand that when you look up things online, if you word them to go against you or towards you, those results will pop up.
Yeah,
Listen to the CDC, they know what they're talking about. Listen to the doctors, they know what they're talking about. And just get informed. Get informed, stay safe, care about the people around you, and get fucking vaccinated.
exactly.
If you, when this goes up on YouTube, I'm looking at you, YouTube people, okay? If you comment down below, I got vaccinated because of you guys, I will send you a Tesla Model S. Every single person. That's no cap. I don't have a cap on. Model S.
Straight from Dallas's bank account.
I will drive it to your fucking garage or your front doorstep if you don't have a garage. I'll hand you the keys. Say, let's go. Let's go get that booster shot.
Oh God.
So this is the end. This will probably be the last episode of the year. No, we'll have one more episode. So this will be the last episode before Christmas. So Merry Christmas to you all that are watching this.
And to all, good night.
Yes, and to all a good night. Marcus. Okay, sorry. I for some reason, big brain moment. Never mind, it's okay. I thought that the last episode of the year was going to be the 31st, but it's not.
Nope.
Damn.
It's like the 29th or 30th.
It's the 30th. Well, we will see you guys on the 30th for the final ITC episode of 2021.
2021.
All right. With that being said, bye. Have a good night,
See
everybody.
ya.